Behemoth. The Behemoth.
Behemoth.
The Behemoth.
All right, guess what movie we're doing today?
Behemoth?
Welcome back to another edition of Mega Movie Drive-In. I'm your host, Eric's with an X, and today we explore the 1959 American-British connection film, The Giant Behemoth. Another movie raising a monster from the depth due to nuclear testing. Today's feature is brought to us by Allied Artists Productions Incorporated. The movie was directed by Eugene Laurie, who I did not know upon making this video also directed The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, and Gorgo, which we will also get to later in the series, at some point. The movie monster was created by none other than Willis O'Brien, who is probably most famous for the stop-motion effects done on King Kong. You can tell he didn't have much to work with here, but he still does a fantastic job. Our story begins with an intense conference involving the British Science Society, led by American scientist Stephen Carnes, played by Gene Evans, to discuss the effects of atomic testing upon marine life. And like all good protagonists, he's trying to warn the people of the dangers of nuclear testing. Next, we head to the small fishing village of Cromwell, where we meet... You know what? Usually at this point, I introduce these characters and then their names in real life, but I gotta be honest with you. These characters don't mean anything. They're only in the first 10 minutes. All you need to know is this is John, played by John Turner. Wow, a lot of thought put into that character name. And this is Leigh Madison. She's the only woman in this movie. There's no women in this movie, really.
With nothing, sir. Not been sighted.
Okay, her, but we're not going to count her. But all you need to know here is that the old man dies, they discover tons of dead radioactive fish on the beach, and that John burns his hand on some radioactive snot. That's it. And that's all you need to know. Sigh. Anyway, after news of bad fishing gets around the area, Dr. Carnes sets out with Professor James Bickford, played by Andre Morel, the only other character you really need to know about in this movie. After examining the area and nothing turns up, Carnes asks for specimens from all over the coast to be examined. After a few tests, they discover that one of the bottom feeders of the area has a radioactive particle inside of it. This convinces Carnes that there's definitely something going on off the waters of England. So what does he do? He goes and looks for it. This guy has balls, I'll give him that. He catches the glimpse of his monster while he's out trawling around looking for it. But as soon as he finds it, it disappears back into the ocean. They then get a radio call that a trawler near them has been sunk. They head to the wreckage and find that the ship has been torn apart. They then meet up with the Coast Guard, or the Navy, and put the world on high alert to look for this thing. Seriously, man? Just because the dog is barking, that's a little harsh. After the monster destroys a small farming village, Kearns and Bickford need help on exactly narrowing down what kind of ancient dinosaur this is. They get in contact with Bickford's friend, Dr. Sampson, played by Jack McGrawn. He is the leading paleontologist at the Museum of Natural History. Now, I know earlier I said F the people in this movie, but this little guy is wild. He really is something else. He seems like the kind of dude that if he ever actually found a dinosaur, he would...
Fuck it.
So now he sets out to try to find the dinosaur, and unfortunately does not have the same success as everybody else. The monster makes its way up the river and decides to wreak a little havoc. Now after this attack, the city isn't taking any chances.
Oh, fiddlesticks.
They decide to batten down the hatches and almost prepare like they did back in the 40s for the Blitz. While the monster lays and waits for its next attack, our main characters are held at a conference to discuss how to actually destroy the beast. They have to figure out a way to destroy the monster in one piece, because it turns out if they blow it to smithereens, every little piece is going to become radioactive and poison London for who knows how long. The best idea that they can concoct is they have to put a tip of uranium inside a torpedo, shoot it right at the creature, and hit it dead on. This way the blast will be contained. While our heroes work on building the torpedo, the monster heads straight for London to destroy it. Once the monster returns to the river, This is when Carnes, again, this guy's got some balls on him, nominates himself to get in a mini-sub to launch the torpedo at the beast. Hey, what do you know? I can actually introduce a character, because this guy's in the credits. The mini-sub officer is played by Maurice Kaufman, and that's all we know him as, is the mini-sub officer. They're able to find the beast by sonar, and I gotta be honest with you, this last battle is kind of anticlimactic. They get smacked around a little bit of water leaks inside the sub, but then they launch the torpedo, and yeah, that's it. Our story ends with our two heroes, Kearns and Bickford, sitting in a car together when over the radio. Okay, just kidding. What really plays is... No, that's not really what plays. I'm sorry. What really comes over the radio, there are radioactive fish washing up on beaches over in the Americas. And that was the giant behemoth. I know I sounded like I ragged on this movie a lot in this episode, but I actually enjoy this movie. I didn't see it till later in life when it finally came out on DVD. I think the plot is actually really good. I like the fact that it gives you the eerie, dark ocean, and there's something swimming around in there leaving traces behind. I still find it kind of strange that there's no female lead in this movie. The ending also kind of comes up abruptly, but the monster scenes are pretty cool. A couple of them, again, looks like they had a small budget, couldn't get all they wanted, but once you get past that, it still looks pretty cool. Thank you all for watching, and join me next time for more giant monsters from under the ocean.